Pounders, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing another puppy draft. This is going to be one of the last streams we do before the schedule is released. Now, we do have some streams that we're going to be guests on this Wednesday and Thursday. Bindle's stream on Wednesday, and then Tyler's stream on Thursday. We'll keep you guys more in the loop as those days get closer. But we have filled the puppy, and we're jumping in. We're getting right into it tonight. And of course, all right, we get the 7. So this will be interesting. This was also plus 10 to filling. So this is going to be, I'm assuming, very heavy in pounders. And I'm seeing a few already. Logan, Adam, Shoobs, Shock Trauma, Frank in the 10, King of Kings. So this is going to be, it's definitely going to be a interesting room, and this will definitely play out much more difficult than a normal puppy, which is always, it's good practice for us, but it's also very good for the viewers because you guys get to see a draft that is sharper and what more balanced teams actually really look like. And then when you're actually facing better competition, balance becomes more important. So we're getting our reps in, good reps too for BBM. Some quick hellos: Frank, Logan, Adam. I'm Blazing. Welcome to the live stream, guys. Try to get in, missed it. Yeah, it filled quick. Did you get in the overflow? Adam is always buying me getaway. See, you already get some pushback. Like, you already know that people are on the same clicks. We made another update to the CSV rankings. I think it's gonna be a weekly thing at this time. So every Sunday night, I'm gonna go through and just give a little refresher to the ranks. Keep everyone ahead of the ball of where these players are tracking to. This way we can get the values, the close and line values by the end of the season. Let's do a quick. All right, so we're going to start with Bijan here. We'll start with Bijan here at 7. And let's come to here. Let's do this. Clear. Let's go refresh. All right. Do appreciate the YouTube memberships as well as the Patreon members. If you guys are interested in the CSV rankings as well as the draft guide that comes with it, and that is rankings based on Underdog's current ADPs. So we go through, basically rank them with a color grade of green, yellow, red based on Underdog's current ADP value on that player. So using that and the CSV is very helpful. But you can get that on the Patreon, any tier, or YouTube memberships in the comments that is pinned. The Maxer. Garrett Wilson here at the 12. Marvin Harrison being pulled to 11 with JT. Drake London off of 15 with AJ Brown. No one did anything weird just yet, so pretty normal start here in this room. Steph said she missed. I know we last second fit this stream in tonight. Had to. The grind does not stop. If you guys just joined us, go down, slap the like on the live stream. If you enjoy the content, please hit the subscribe button. That's all we ask. I guess we'll go Olave here. I'm not overly sold on Olave at this price point. Like, I'm really not. He feels forced into this range. I'm okay with Devontae Adams or Deebs here. He feels forced. So we'll bring in Devontae Adams here. This is how we have it, at least in the rankings as well. Olave off the board next at 19. What's interesting is where we updated Josh Jacobs to, as well as Kyron. And you'll see, like, I think Kyron's going to be steadily falling the whole season. So someone that I'm not going to click on early right now, but someone that will, I'm sure, catch up on at a better price later in the draft season. So I'm okay with actually going very, very light on players I think are going to be cheaper later. And just grabbing my exposure at a better price. Nico off the board at 21. Let's see what Adam does here. He brings in Debo with Tyreek Hill. That's a spike week combo. Got a few badgeless people in this as well. I mean, it's pretty standard for the puppy room, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Shoobs, I believe, is a subscriber as well, but is not on the page. Unfortunate for some of the badgeless people in a room of sharks. The blood is in the water. Neighbors goes off the board at 25 with Diggs at 24. I don't love the Diggs price still at 26. I think if I had to decide on which Houston receivers I want to draft at price, I would rather Nico over Diggs. I'd rather Tank Dell. Tank Dell's price over Diggs' price. Derrick Henry off the board at 27. Logan starting 3 receivers. CeeDee Lamb, Mike Evans, and Jalen Waddle. Love that. Chef's kiss right there. Touch of Gray started 2 receivers. Achane falling right now to 28. To 29. I don't think Achane will make it to 31, but if he did, we would click him at 31. He gone. So where we start running back receiver, it's probably best to grab your second receiver here. It's probably best to double tap receiver. We're going to be lucky if we get someone we like at 42, in my opinion. Because receiver, there's just a dead zone in that spot. So let's bring in Devonta Smith here. We won't go directly based on ADP. The most common pairing will be Michael Pittman, so we'll just reach up 1 pick. They're in the same tier, so I don't think it's a negative advance rate play. Could also mix in Cup, Pittman, obviously, but Pittman will be the most owned with this pairing. That really only matters for week 17. Put you against a room. Here's the T. Higgs. Yeah, it was a dream thinking we're going to get T. Higgs at 42. It was a dream. He's someone that we're ahead of ADP on in the CSV. He goes in a spot that I'm very comfortable taking him. And you can actually get him. So shock, grabbing him here at 33, just knowing what he's up against. Other people with the rankings. Cooper Kupp off the board at 36. Laporta falls at 35. We'll see if Team 11 can survive the wide receiver landslide that is occurring in this room. ETN off the board at 37. 2 RBs, 2 wide receiver start. Jalen Hurts, Laporta. Oh, God. Adam says Higgins was overpriced last year, in my opinion, so I don't see why mid-round, third round is any better. Was he overpriced or did he underperform because of Joe Burrow getting hurt? Because I think those are 2 different things. We're going to bring in Tank Dell here. Kelsey off the board at 43. Yeah, if we don't go Tank Dell here at 55, we're looking at this group, which is fine, to bring in your third. So if we want to go off the beaten path with tight end, elite tight end or elite QB, I'm not completely opposed to it. But knowing that we can get someone here at 55 pretty easily, but at 66, you're looking at this range. I do think running backs might be a little better of a click in that range, or even a Kittle instead of going tight end right here at 42. Just taking that 2-for-2 combo of receiver here plus Kittle late rather than Kelsey plus a receiver here. Just feels a little better this way, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, T. Higgs was pretty decent for having a backup QB, too. So he was expensive. He was definitely expensive last year. I thought Waddle was too expensive last year in the second round, and people were like pulling him to the 12 spot, 13 on this 1-2 turn, and I didn't love that. But now Waddle's price, it's climbing. It's climbing, but we're drafting him at 42 in the big board. 27 is still fine. I like 27 for him in the third round. Higgs last year, though, if I pull it up real quick, we're looking at wide receiver one. He's put up a wide receiver one once, twice, 3, 4 times last year without Joe Burrow. I mean, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Of course, Chase was hurt for some of those games, but ooh. Okay, so we didn't get Mahomes. Oh, Mahomes falls to the Kelsey squad. Real nice for them. I think Keenan Allen still has to fall behind Kirk. Worthy's interesting, but I do want to bring in another receiver here. And for me, it's Christian Kirk. Kirk allows us to go a little more, let's say, risk adverse for rookie receivers at the end of draft because you have someone that should have a pretty good floor this year. So having a player like this or like a Pittman prototype in your build allows you to draft more spike week guys later in these later rounds, like Shaheed, players that are going to disappear for 10 plus weeks, but they'll give you those 3-4 spike weeks. That's why I do like about players like Christian Kirk and Pittman, but you have to know how to draft with them. If you're drafting floor guys late and pairing them with like Christian Kirk and Pittman teams, that to me is, you're lowering the ceiling of your team. But like being able to bring in like a late pick, like Javon Baker, players like that, I think will fit this squad real well. Dude. All right, this team finally brings in its second receiver. Kittle off the board. Adam says he's in the minority on Higgs. That's all right. You got to trust the gut sometimes. You got to trust the gut. What do we want to do here? At 79. We can go with Dunze just at price, but I do see Ladd potentially passing over him. In this puppy draft, we'll go Rome Dunze here. It'll give us another QB option. Ladd will as well with Herbert, but yeah, we're going to have a lot of options at QB with this team, which is nice. Where did Stroud go in this one? Stroud went at 48 with Diggs. Makes sense. Stroud's a fun one to keep an eye on, though. Like, because a lot of his receivers go early, like, they were both to the left of us, right? The Nico team and the Diggs team were both to the left of us. So for some reason, if they draft another early QB or it gets past them at pick 52, pretty good likelihood of him falling to 55. And we've seen that in several drafts so far. The Stroud fall about 10 plus picks just because the other teams passed up on him. Ladd goes off the board at 70 in this one. Let's see if we get someone we like at 79. Definitely feeling comfortable with this start. Yeah, Stevenson was the hope at 79. That's why I said this room's going to play out more difficult. especially if we just refresh the CSV. So it's good. This will challenge us. This will definitely challenge us. This Chase team is at 5. He already has Lamar. He only has 2 receivers. The trap pick for him would be Joe Burrow. He should not go Joe Burrow. He needs to catch up at receiver still. Yeah, Steph just got a double Stroud at 53. So that's what we're talking about. If you keep track of where the other Houston pieces are in the draft room, you can push Stroud to your next pick if you're strategic. And he has been a little bit of a faller for that reason as well. People aren't taking him as much without the receivers, which is, in my mind, correct. But it's funny how this team brings in Diggs, and now he's cheaper than he was in the big board. And for the big board, we had him ranked in the yellow/red. Might have been red to start, and then he went to yellow. And then when they brought in Diggs, he quickly went to green because we had to catch up. This is an interesting spot where I think we just bring in our tight end here. For me, it's tight end or Godwin. Could go Zamir for a little Las Vegas correlation, but is Zamir going to rise from this price? And if he does, how many spots does he have left to move up? That's why he seems like a player that give me more information and I'll just draft him later and catch up in my exposure later in the draft season. Hey, Connor, what's up, man? Welcome to the live stream. Yeah. So we'll see what we get here in 5 picks. We could reach up for Caleb at 90. This also makes Cole Kmet a pretty big target for us as our tight end too. And that's probably fringe. Like if you had to stop at 2 tight ends, you could lean into Ferg being a pretty big target for Dak this year. Cole Kmet, I think, is going to be he's going to be very spiky, spike week dependent. I think he's going to lose some of that weekly floor at tight end, adding 3 very high value targets in front of him. Bengals give me the ick, and I wish they didn't. Is this because the unknown so far with Burrow, the potential of re-injury? Is that what's creating the hesitancy, Adam? Because I could get behind that. I could see that. Yeah, so Swift off the board. This is an easy Caleb click for us. We'll bring in our QB here. We'll bring in our QB here. We can easily pair Trevor Lawrence with Kirk late. Little Minshew mustache magic. We're definitely going to have to get a third QB in this sort of build. Unless we end up with Trevor Lawrence. I'm comfortable with just stopping with Trevor Lawrence and Caleb. And that honestly could give this team a little bit of an advantage. Just being able to draft another positional player late. So that'll be the goal, to bring in Trevor Lawrence. If we miss on him, we have to bring in 2 more QBs. We could make Bowers. So I need to bring in another running back before I go another tight end. And this is the range where you make your money or you just land on mines. It's like this whole range is gross. And like looking at the way it's ranked on Underdog is even worse. it's even worse. Because it's not like the players aren't separated. They're just all together because no one knows what to do with it. It's kind of funny. Makes sense, Adam. Makes sense. Njoku off the board at 98. Chubb, Pollard, Connor. So some of these running backs that we were hoping got off the board. I don't mind the James Conner click. I think it's interesting how close Trey Benson goes to James Conner. That one is tough for me to swallow. It's like, we get that James Conner gets hurt for 3 to 4 games every year. James Conner is going to be the RB1 in the offense. Yeah, because that's the range I live in for running back. Yeah, 0. Yeah, when you're building 0 RBs, it's not a bad group, depending on who you click, in my opinion, to enter your lineup with a 0 RB. Mostert off the board. Mostert was going to be our click. Now it kind of gets gross. How many clicks? Middle of the board. We're not used to drafting on the middle of the board, 114. We're going to go Brian Robinson here. We're going to go B-Rob. Bring in our second running back. We probably have to click running back again with our next pick as well. James Conner is 29 years old. Yeah, but James Conner, even at 29 years old, even after returning from injury last year, had a crazy end to the season. All right, I'll pull it up. He very much still has a lot left in the tank. He showed it last year. He ended the last 3 weeks of the season as RB5, RB3, RB1, RB11, RB5, 4 RB1 weeks in a row. Against Chicago, one of the top rated running defenses, and this is in a game script where they're playing from behind. So some of that's receiving work. Gets a nice little decent floor from some of the receiving work. Probably averages about 2.5, 3 targets a game. Couple receiving touchdowns obviously help that as well. But 26 touches, 27 touches, 25 touches. Sure, I don't think he's going to get that amount of touches next year. Otherwise, you would see him up in the Aaron Jones price point. They probably want to bring in Trey Benson to take over maybe even 30% of the work. But spike weeks should still be there. Tua, T-Law. We'll stop at 2 QBs with T-Law and Caleb. We obviously still need to catch up at RB. Double B, Rob. Yes, sir. Yeah, we've been caught doing this a little bit. The old Cam Akers narrative. The problem with Cam Akers is the team didn't like him. The team didn't like him. Remember they literally told him to stay home. So he, stay home, stay on the couch, don't get hurt so we could trade you. And it's like, all right, no one wants you. Go in there and touch the ball 20 times a game. Crazy. Yeah, give us all of the Robinsons. Shit. Now, James Conner, there's obvious risk with having a decent RB2 in the backfield. That whole range has RB2s in the backfield, right? Eckler, Swift even. Is there a guarantee that Swift is the third down back with Rashawn Johnson? Is there a guarantee that he's the goal line back? I don't think so. Jaylen Warren is working for touches. Luckily, this team's going to run the ball a shit ton. So he's relatively safe, in my opinion. Zach Moss, Brooks, with Sanders and Chuba. Not that, once Brooks is healthy, he should have the backfield. But again, rookie, entering the NFL from major knee surgery. Risk, for sure. Tony Pollard, Ratajay. So, Miami has 2 running backs. I like the bet on B-Rob. I don't mind the bet on James Conner. I think he goes in the right tier group, but I just have him at the front of the group, basically. Him, Warren. Javonte Williams will be interesting. And I wonder how training camp's really going to go. It's a team that brings in another running back. So how confident were they just running into the season with Jaleel and Javonte? This is another good spot, in my opinion, to bring in our third running back. If we needed more of a floor player, I like Palmer here a lot, and Palmer's off the board. I do think it is tough to click Corum over Elliott right now. As much as I want Elliott to just kind of go away, just go away. He should be getting a decent amount of touches this year. He should be getting a decent amount of touches. It's going to be running back by committee, but so should if you're thinking upside for Blake Corum, like is he going to take Kyron's job? I wouldn't think so. Not without injury, and then they show what Corum could do. Kyron was very good last year. But he could work into a timeshare with Kyron. Very similar like running backs. Corum a little more athletic, at least in the testing profile. I think Zeke allows you to do different things too. Like if we go Zeke, we could then pile on some rookies late, like Irving and some of these other players, Ray Davis. And we still can. We still will. Hopefully Jaden can open up some lanes for B-Rob. So I would say that's one of the bigger knacks for Brian Robinson is Jaden's ability, his rushing ability. And he just throws his body. He'll just throw his body right into the whole defensive line. So he might steal some of those goal line touches. We'll see if Eckler steals some of those goal line touches as well. But if we're betting on Eckler, another year older, another year less efficient. Man, let's go correlation here. Let's go Cole Kmet. We get our double stack with Caleb here. We're good at receiver still. I'm good at putting off receiver. I do still need to catch up at running back. Jets took 2 RBs as Izzy unofficially dead. It's that room is going to be just wait and see. Just wait and see. You have time. That's one where I don't think you really have to jump the gun and start drafting one or the other right now. You have time. It's early in the draft season. I would just err on the side of draft with the knowledge that we have. And maybe, obviously, you want to forecast things too to get some closing line value. But are there better spots that we could do that? Like Evan Hull? Who's behind Evan Hull? I'd much rather draft Evan Hull over Braylon Allen right now. Just with the current news. Now, if we get the news that Braylon Allen's taking the snap second over Izzy, I'm okay with mixing in Braylon Allen too. So I think we could just wait a little longer on it though. I don't think there's a big rush. Trey Sermon. Make it stop. Make it stop. It's the Rams. Anyone can take the RB job. Yeah, it's true. It's very true. That's very true. It's too real. Ray Davis off the board at 147. Algier off the board at 143. Some of the guys we were hoping came back to us, so we'll see how we zig and zag around this. Fading Z click could allow us to click Rico here if he comes to us. Rico, Kendre, Ty Chandler. I'm cool with these. One of these three. Ben Sinnott quickly passed Musgrave like we expected. However, I would have Hunter Henry ahead of Ben Sinnott still. I think Hunter Henry belongs in this range. That's where he is in the CSV. All right, we're bringing in Kendre. Almost all of those guys, they almost went 3 for 3 with the people in my queue. Jesus. Just a magnet. Just a magnet. We haven't clicked receiver since round 6. So really catching up with the other positions right now. This is probably going to be a 6 RB squad. 6 RB. We can stop at 2 QBs. Two more receivers. 2 more running backs. 1 tight end. Or we could do... This could be a 2-6-7-3 as well. Two, 6, 7, 3, or 2, 7, 7, 2. If we wanted to lean into these 2 tight ends, we could go 7 running backs, but I don't think you need to with B-Rob. And I don't think this team needs 8 receivers as well. So I do like stopping at 7 with this receiver group. So let's see how we formulate this. If Hunter Henry falls back to us, which I don't think he's going to. I think Shock's going to snipe him here at 160. Only having 1 tight end, but maybe he goes late tight end. Oh, he could be looking for Conklin late too. Yeah, there it is with Rodgers. Ooh, Hunter Henry. Wilson. By the badges. The badges sharp. Sharp. He could have gone Corley as well and then tried to go Conklin. But maybe he's done at receiver. I didn't check. Let's bring in Bucky here at 162. Shock's team haunts my dreams. Oh my God. That sounds like a bad thing. That sounds like a bad thing. Just so many QB injuries. Where did he get Singletary at 105? I think that's sharp. Ooh, he says very bad. Ooh. Fighting words. I like the receiving group. I like the tight ends. I think... Does he get Conklin to come back to him is the question. Does he get Conklin at 177? This team needs another tight end. I potentially could have gone a 3rd tight end. This team needs another tight end. So I think that was the right move. Going Conklin. Juwan Johnson off the board at 163. He's been a common riser right now. John off the board at 167. There goes one of our late options as well. So we're looking at Fant, Gesicki, Jelani. Should decide on retirement soon. 2 months later. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? We knew that was going to be an L title right when they put it. Interesting running backs. Dobbins here at 175, I think starts to become worth it. Tyrone Tracy, Khalil Herbert. Where did Rashawn? Rashawn just went at 170. Making it tough on us, boys. Making it tough on us. I feel pretty good stopping with Khalil Herbert in this group. Not as good with J.K. Dobbs, but we would have to. So let's see. And not as good with Tyrone Tracy, in my opinion. I feel like this is like the make or break if I'm going to like the RB room or not. Which you think that way, and it's so early. It's so early in the offseason still. We thought that about like Chris Rod. Like, oh, really like my team if I get like Chris Rodriguez here. Antonio Gibson goes to New England, and then like a bunch of other shit happens afterwards. And you're like, oh, well, that's not good. Although, is there a way for Chris Rod still to get there this year with the injury to B-Rob or to Eckler? It's definitely possible. Definitely possible. Javon Baker off the board at 176. We have still not clicked receiver since round 6. 5 of the first 6 rounds were receiver. Yeah, we went RB, 5 receivers. Just catching up with the other positions. All right, we're done at RB here with Bijan, B-Rob, Blake Corum, Kendrick Miller, Bucky Irving, and Khalil Herbert. Pretty fun group. In my opinion, for these guys in the back in Chicago that are in the 180s, I feel like they are the highest upside guys with the potential of Herbert being moved. You would see an insane jump from Rashawn. You would see an insane ADP rise from Herbert as well. Like you're talking potentially on Herbert where he goes, obviously, but to a running back needy squad, one of the obvious one that comes to mind is Dallas. But you're looking at like 50, 60 picks, closing line value on both of them. Like, why would Rashawn not be in the Trey Benson area if Khalil Herbert got moved? Ooh. Okay. So receiver here, and I still think Michael Wilson's falling. I'm cool with Wandell here too. But where Zay Jones is rising, I think he's going to be above this tier here. And we have some floor guys to house a player like Zay Jones. We'll bring in Zay here. We'll see if Noah Fant falls. He's a tight end that I would bring in here at 199. If Noah Fant doesn't come back to us, I think we stick with these 2 tight ends and we just lean into them. And then we just get stronger at a different position. Derek Carr off the board. Probably my favorite value QB in the whole draft. Getting Derek Carr at 187 or even ADP 199. Just, that's one ADP that just seems entirely wrong. Entirely wrong. Adam stopped with Purdy and Tua. I like that combo. Kincaid and Evans, elite at tight end. Henry, Chase Brown, Jalen Wright, Ray Davis, and Antonio Gibson. This is a fun group too. Kind of bringing in a floor guy with Antonio Gibson, with the Spike Lee player and Jalen Wright, Ray Davis, and we'll see how many touches Jalen Wright can work in. Yeah, this is the best way to put it. Zay, always good for at least one Zay type week, followed by multiple weeks of injury. Shit. Justin Fields, Cade Otton, TJ Hawk. Oof. TJ Hawk and Cade Otton, huh? Now, Cade Otton, 193. That's solid. Even I think he should be going before that, and I'm not super high on Cade Otton. This guy's got to go Fant, right? He goes Fant. We're not bringing in a third tight end, I don't think. Is he even here? Is this guy just on auto with 4? No, this was before ADP. That's pretty late into the draft, too. Auto Will Levis here, 5 QBs. Ooh, 4th receivers, Curtis Samuel. We got one guy paying the rake for us, at least. If we go Noah Fant here, our last click is a receiver, and I feel pretty good about it. Just relatively balanced. Pretty well correlated. All right. We'll bring in Fant at 199. And now for our last click, 8 picks away. We should be good. Yeah, he paid the rake. This is now a 2 out of 11 advance, and that's every room needs one. Every room needs someone to take over the 11% rake or 10.4% rake. Adam says, do I go wide receiver or running back? I thought his running back room needed one more, but I didn't see his receivers. Oof. Tyreek, Debo, like you have spike week type guys. Like obviously Tyreek you want to depend on, you want to lean into that. So it doesn't matter that he's like spike week guy. He's got a pretty good high floor. Debo though, Pickens though, and then JMO and Marvin Mims. I would want a player like even like DeMarcus Robinson just to give you a little bit of floor with those guys. Yeah, Debo's got a pretty high floor too. Pretty high risk getting hurt though. We're going to bring in Parker Washington here to pair with Trevor Lawrence. And we're living. We're living a little bit. Even the news about Gabe Davis, right? Gabe Davis, like, still working back from injury. Right away, drafting around news, Parker Washington should instantly become an 18th round click. I'm not saying you have to put him in the 17th, but he's someone that should at least be mixed in with the news about Gabe Davis. Like, might be starting the season slow. Well, who's next in the pecking order to get touches? So, like, hasn't been able to do much on the field work. For me, that just makes me open my eyes a little bit. That's all. The Parker dart. Yeah. Nick and I have a board bet in the Discord. 5-1 I'm getting on Parker Washington just outscoring Gabe Davis in fantasy points this year. And injuries included. Like I could win on injuries, and I'm not over that, all right? I'm not above that, okay? Any way we can get there. CEH off the board at 214, so he does bring in another running back instead of receiver. So we'll check out these squads that were drafted. And we'll see how they look. But we leaned into Caleb and T-Law. Allowed us to get basically a luxury pick with Noah Fant. This could have been a QB, could have been a tight end, could have been running back, could have been whatever, really. All right. So in the 2 spot, you had Logan go with A-Rich and Dak, which is a really fun combo. Njoku, Smith, and Sanders. I like this group. It's just the capital seems good as well. Pacheco, Stevenson, Connor, Algier, and Rashawn Johnson. I fucking love this RB room. Steph, put this thing in the Discord so I could check it. She goes, I am drafting a monster. Glad I missed this room. Pacheco, Stevenson, Connor, Algier, and Rashawn. I really mess with this RB room. Really going to get in his guys. Logan said, and I've seen Logan drafting like this, he's really taking the CSV and just running with it. Lamb, Mike Evans, Waddle, Myers, Downs, Polk, Wandale, and Devontae Walker with Njoku, Smith, and Sanders. Yeah, it's just a really, really solid team. He said, oh, yes, I am. And this is what it ends up looking like when you use our rankings. Like, I mean, even A-Rich at 47 and then pairing, he had to do a little reach for Dak here. And sometimes you can get Dak to fall back to you. So I'm curious if this is... Now, you're in the 2 spot, so you have to hope that Dak comes back to you at 95. And that's probably... It's probably like a 10% chance. It's tough because you have to get past... You have to get past this guy right here. The person that drafts Ferguson. And Ferguson goes at 87, so he goes on the turn. And if Dak is still available, people are looking to bring in that Dak-Ferguson stack. Unless Ferguson goes to a team that, you know, already has maybe Josh Allen or already has like two of these earlier QBs. That's when you're like, okay, there's a serious chance that Dak comes back to me over here on this side of the board. But I don't blame him for reaching up and going and getting Dak here. But yeah, really nice draft from Logan. Adam with Purdy and Tua. I'm cool leaning into those 2 guys. Kincaid and Ingram. This is probably the strongest in the room, I'm assuming, at tight end. Henry, Chase Brown, Jalen Wright, Ray Davis, Antonio Gibson, and CEH. I think you can lean into this group, but it's more like a luxury pick, him bringing in CEH. The receivers, just having 3 rookies, Spike Week guy and Mims, and JMO who can disappear, as well as Pickens. I think it leans a lot into Ladd in his role and potentially having a high floor. And if that's true, then I'm good with it. And you have to draft like you're right as well. So I'm really good with it. He brings in Malik Washington to pair with Tua. And Odell will steal snaps from Malik Washington early, but can Dusty Odell keep the sexy rookies off the field come end of the season? That'll be the biggest question. But nice draft from Adam. Shock trauma in the 9 spot, Burrow, Rodgers, and Watson. I like this little triple here. Kittle, Conklin, and Gesicki. I like that as well. He reached up and got both guys ahead of ADP. This one was for correlation. Barkley, Harris, Singletary, Garendo, and Braylon Allen. I'm good with this group. Leaning into these first 3 clicks. Maybe a little light at running back, but it's definitely doable with these 3. And like Singletary is set to have the workload. So, all right, Steph, we'll take a peek at what you got cooking. Puka, T. Higgs, Amari Cooper, Jaden Reed, Mike Williams, Brandon Cooks, and Roman Wilson. I like the receivers here. Really leaning in to the receivers. Good amount of capital. I wouldn't go 1 less for sure. That's perfect. 1 more would have been luxury. Now, could you stop here with just Joe Burrow and Rodgers? But you have the Amari correlation, so it makes sense to bring in Deshaun Watson, 15, 14 clicks after ADP too. Kittle, I do sort of like my Kittle's shares in 3 tight end builds. So I do like what Shock did here with the 3 tight ends. So yeah, very balanced draft. I get a little wary about who's going to be the backup right now in San Fran, and then who's going to be the backup in New York. And if Brees went down, would probably just be running back by committee anyways. But can Braylon Allen work in a role if he wins RB2? Can he work in a role to get 20% of the carries? Kind of like a change of pace running back. Wow, James says, I feel like Zamir's ADP is going to climb 25 spots by August. Damn. That's tough for me to see happening. Love and Kirk. So really leaning into 2 QBs here. Goddard, Schultz, and Musgrave. I'm cool with the capital spent at tight end. Josh Jacobs, Kenneth Walker, Trey Benson, Hubbard, Damian Pierce, and Tank Bigsby. And you can see Jacobs is still dropping. His ADP is dropping every single day. I'm good with the running backs. Chuba at 178. Bunch of RB2s. So leaning into these top 2 guys. A.J. Brown, London, Pittman, Worthy, Godwin. So 5 receivers through Godwin. So very strong. Brings in Darnell Mooney for this Atlanta double. And then A.T. Perry super late. I'm good with the receiver room. I think that's really balanced. It looks strong. Yeah, another balanced team by Frank. And ours with Caleb and T-Law, Ferguson, Komet, and Fant. Both Robinsons, Corum, Kendra Miller, Bucky Irving, Khalil Herbert, receiver Devontae Adams, Devonta Smith, Devontae and Devonta, Tank Dell, Christian Kirk, Roma Dunes, Zay Jones, and Parker Washington. So you can see like the teams that were drafted, there's no like overly strong, super powerhouse teams. And when you're in a room that is sharper, like the teams look more balanced. They look like this. The teams that lean into their correlation with their teams for upside in week 17 too. So really nice drafts from everyone that came out tonight. Appreciate you guys. And if you guys enjoyed the stream, go down, slap the like on the way out. If you have a minute, leave us a comment. And if you enjoyed the content, obviously hit the sub. AD Mitchell going to look so underpriced if his camp is strong. Yeah, I mean, just with the speed, he has the speed, but it'll be interesting because you still have to get through Mr. Cardio, right? Mr. Cardio himself. Pretty funny. Alec Pierce. Shouldn't be hard. It shouldn't be hard. But we'll catch you guys on the next one. Again, we're going to be on Biddle's stream on Wednesday and Tyler's stream on Thursday. I'll post more information about that in the Discord. I'm just pulling up Steph's draft real quick. I want to peek what she had going on here. So we'll pull this up before we leave. Where'd she put it? She put it right here. So this is the team that she said she drafted in the overflow room. CJ Stroud and Purdy with Bowers, Ben Sinnott, and Juwan Johnson. I like that 3. Aaron Jones, Swift, Singletary, and Tony Gibson, Elijah Mitchell, and Dylan Labe. I'm good with the running back room. Justin Jefferson, Debo, Diggs at 29, Tank Dell, Lab McConkey, Ricky, and Javon Baker. That's a solid squad. Solid team. Let me post the Discord information. It's where everyone hangs out off stream. And we will catch you guys on the next one. Hope everyone has a great night.